Hello, this is Romany welcoming you to the 2139th edition of the Enfield Talking newspaper, Dateline 12 April 2018. The readers this week are Ros, Katherin, Reena and Romany, with them on the controls. The editor is Phillip and the production and distribution team is Peter and Sandra. Our title music is Country Rock Polka, composed by Pat Prilly, Fernand Bouillon, Harry Brewer, and performed by Jean-Jacques Perry, and is used with his kind permission. The local news stories that we will be reading come from the Enfield Independent and Palmer's Green and Southgate Life, and are their copyright. The events information has been collated by us from other sources. The lead story this week is Gardens New Gates to Stop Vandalism. Before the news, the sunrise and sunset times for the week beginning 15th April are sunrise 0603 and sunset 1957. Do get in touch with us to share your own news and special announcements. We love to hear from you. If you have any comments about the Enfield Talking newspaper, please phone Diane de Jersey on 020 8805 6578. She is your listener's representative and will be pleased to help you. Now Ros will read the first item of local news.
Gardens New Gates to Stop Vandalism. A wildlife garden that has been plagued with vandalism has been fitted with security gates in a bid to halt the stem of antisocial behaviour. Debris from drug and alcohol abuse, damaged shrubs and flowers, and even an arson attack have been discovered at the wildlife garden in Bush Hill Park, Enfield, as the place has steadily become a magnet for vandalism. Now security gates have been installed at the entrance thanks to a campaign from the Friends of Bush Hill Park Group, Enfield Council and the Enfield Society. Co-chairwoman of the Friends Group, Carol Stanley, said, "Now that we can lock the garden at night, we have begun the refurbishment and it is such potential to become a wildlife haven, yet it is only minutes away from the hustle and bustle of urban life. We have replaced the raised ponds with 2 new ponds at ground level using reclaimed water tanks, and where the old pond was sited we have planted an apple tree in a wildflower meadow with some natural seating. The tree is dedicated to Maria Tolley in recognition of her 10-year service with the Friends Group. The group is optimistic that the destruction of the pond, littering and vandalism will become a thing of the past because the garden can be locked during the hours of darkness, and that's when the worst antisocial behaviour occurs." Southbury Ward Councillor Chris Bond said, "I hope that the official launch will make more people aware of this lovely natural feature on their own doorstep. It would be great if we could help people come forward and help the Friends Group with their plans for further improvements, such as repairing the Bug Hotel and making more bird and bat boxes." The Friends of Bush Hill Park are looking for extra helpers and urge people to do get in touch. And if you wish to find out more, you can go to www.friendsofbushhillpark.org.uk.
The Ghost Story returns. A world-famous ghost story that inspired numerous Hollywood films and heralds from a North London borough is the subject of a Radio 4 programme. This BBC Radio 4, the reunion programme with Sue McGregor, will be looking at the Enfield poltergeist on Friday. Over the last 40 years, the Enfield poltergeist has become world famous. Several Hollywood films, most recently The Conjuring 2, have been loosely based on strange events that took place in the council house in Enfield in the late 1970s. Stories about the Enfield poltergeist began decades ago with BBC broadcasts on radio and television, as well as numerous national newspaper reports. The book This House is Haunted, an investigation of the Enfield poltergeist by Guy Playfair, was published in 1980. The reunion programme first aired on Sunday and featured eyewitness interviews from former BBC reporter Ros Morris, now TV News London's managing director, remembering her experience with the Enfield poltergeist.
Enfield least likely to get extension. A study based on government housing figures has shown that people in Enfield hoping for an extension are one of the least likely to get their home improvement plans approved. Despite the fact that just 12% of planning applications were turned down last year, that's 33,000 people across England struggling to get their home improvement plans started. And of that figure, the most people suffering a knockback were in the London borough of Harrow, followed closely by Enfield. The recent survey by the home improvement company Everest reveals that overlooking neighbours and loss of privacy are the main grounds for denial. Planning permission data from every area across England reveals the top 10 easiest and hardest places to get planning permission granted, and Enfield is the second hardest area, with just 60% of applications accepted. City of London tops the list as the easiest, with a huge 99% of all planning permission applications granted, which is high in comparison to the London borough of Harrow, where just 54% of applications are approved.
Risks Survey. A new survey by male cancer charity Orchid to coincide with Male Cancer Awareness Week, which is April the 9th to the 15th, highlights a worrying lack of awareness amongst men of prostate cancer, its symptoms and risk factors. Of particular concern is the lack of awareness amongst those men at potential high risk of developing prostate cancer. Men aged over 50, Black, African and Black Caribbean men, and men with a family history of prostate cancer. The survey reveals that 29% of men in London say that they know nothing about prostate cancer, whilst 58% say they are not confident in identifying the signs and symptoms of prostate cancer. More worrying is that despite being at a higher risk of developing the disease, UK men aged over 45 are the least knowledgeable when it comes to prostate cancer, and 57% of Black African and Black Caribbean men were not aware that ethnicity affected their risk of developing prostate cancer. In addition, 23% of men with a family history of prostate cancer were not aware that this affects their own risk of developing this disease. In response to the survey results, Orchid has launched a FACE, that's F.A.C.E. up to prostate cancer campaign to encourage men to think about and be aware of 4 risk factors. These are key: family history. Having a brother or father with prostate cancer may double a man's risk compared to men with no family history of the disease. Further information on prostate cancer is available at www.orchid-cancer.org.uk or call the free phone Orchid Male Cancer Helpline on 0808 802 0010.
Golf Club celebrates 125 years. This year, Enfield Golf Club celebrates 125 years with a programme of events soon to be announced. The family-friendly club, which can be found at the 18-hole Parkland course and clubhouse in Old Park Road South, was founded all the way back in 1893. It was one of the very first 500 in the UK, and there were 6 original founding members, and subscription was just 2 guineas. Club manager Des Cassidy says, "Here at Enfield Golf Club, we pride ourselves on being a friendly club with a great atmosphere. We're so proud to be celebrating our 125th anniversary, so here's to golf in the community for the next 125 years and beyond." The club was designed by former Open champion James Braid. The course measures 6,174 yards, that's par 72 for men, and 5,407, that's par 72 for ladies. It's a good test for all levels of golfers. Club captain Alan Baines added, "We are so proud to be celebrating this very special year for the club. There are many excellent events and competitions planned, and we hope that our new 125th anniversary membership will allow as many people as possible to come along to the club, join in and take part. We do offer a warm welcome to all and hope this year will be a very great year in the club's history." The club events include a Cockney Knees Up on April the 20th, past Captain's Golf Dinner on May the 18th, and a Ladies Open Championship on June the 28th. There will also be a Festival of Golf Week between July 7th and July 17th, which will include anniversary competitions. For any more details, do go visit enfieldgolfclub.co.uk.
Protected status. A landmark church has been designated Grade 2 listing, protecting it for future generations. St Alphege Church on Hertford Road, Edmonton, that dates back to 1959, was given the protected status last week, along with its war memorial. It is described as a skillfully composed and carefully massed building, combining modernist, Scandinavian and traditional ecclesiastical forms. The architect, Sir Edward Morph, was Britain's first national architect, who also built Guildford Cathedral. The sculptures of Christ in the west window, St Alphege on the bell tower, and also the font are by the notable sculptor Escort J. Clack, who was an award-winning Fellow of the Royal Society of British Sculptors. Phillip Ridley, who lives behind the church, put it forward for the listing after finding it on the Edmonton Heritage Trail and discovering its notable architect. He said, "Views from our home are dominated by this majestic church, and it is wonderful to have it recognised and protected for future generations." He added that all are welcome to join the congregation for 9:30 a.m. Sunday Mass. There is also a special Mass, Sunday 22nd at 6 p.m. for the Feast of St Alphege, that will be followed by a party in the church hall.
We want to continue the outstanding work. A college in London has been shortlisted for a top higher education award. The College of Haringey, Enfield and North East London, or Connell, founded in 2009, is among 10 colleges shortlisted for the Further Education College category of What Uni Student Choice Awards, or WUSCA, for 2018. The Connell offers higher national diplomas and certificates, degrees in counselling and postgraduate and specialist teaching courses in Tottenham and Enfield. Nominations for the awards are based on thousands of reviews from students studying courses at the college. Lil Moray, 50, completed a certificate in teaching English to speakers of other languages at Connell and now teaches at the college. She said, "The tutors raised my self-esteem and enabled me access to employment, which contributed to my continued success and achievement. Accomplishment is not fate, it's hard work, determination, learning and sacrifice, but most of all, loving what you do." The Further Education College category is new for 2018, and Connell is one of only 2 London colleges in the running for this prize. The winners will be announced at the WUSCA's annual awards ceremony at the Brewery in central London on Thursday the 19th of April, hosted by award-winning comedian Katherin Ryan. Curriculum Manager for Teacher Education, Maral Burjani, said, "We take the quality of our provision very seriously and have passion for what we do. We want to continue the outstanding work, and it's immensely rewarding to have this recognised by our students. A huge thank you to all staff and mentors in the teaching education team for their hard work and dedication in supporting and inspiring the new generation of teachers."
The Here Film Festival. Talkies Community Cinema runs HERE, that's capital HERE, Film Festival in Enfield and the surrounding areas every year throughout March and April. The festival is devoted to showcasing local talent and suburban themes. The next edition of this year's festival will be David and Olivia, showing at Bounds Green Sports Club on April the 13th. Bowes Park residents, actors and film entrepreneurs Kate Braithwaite and Sean Lurwell got fed up with conventional film distribution and decided to strike out into new territory by creating an online miniseries. Within 3 months, it had more than 8 million viewing minutes. In David and Olivia, two people find themselves on the road with one car but wanting to go in different directions. Kate's professional career spans dance, modelling and acting. Her frustrations with the roles she was being offered resulted in her decision to take more self-control. Producing and acting in David and Olivia has inspired her to step behind the camera as well as push forward with other filmmaking projects. Sean is a former Royal Marines Commando officer turned published author, actor and model and filmmaker. Frustrated by the difficulties he and his friends faced making their way in TV and film, Sean tried to inspire his friends and colleagues to create their own work. David and Olivia is a culmination of these efforts over recent years. Now Sean can do what he loves, to write and act for a living. This Talkies event is the UK premiere of the feature film, and Kate and Sean will host the event, revealing the story of their adventure and answer questions from the audience. Also coming up, A Man of No Ambition, which is going to be shown at Christchurch Hall, Southgate on April the 21st. Using his charm and dry wit, Ralph T. Hutchins presents extracts from his TV series, hoping to inspire people of all ages to get away from their flat screens and rediscover the three-dimensional world. And finally, Short Film Commission's premiere, which is being held at St John's Hall, Palmer's Green on April the 28th. This is the festival finale. 5 new films from talented young filmmakers commissioned by Talkies have their premiere screening at this very special event. The films are all shot around Palmer's Green and include tales of magic tricks, letters from inside, demented football, medical anxiety and mysterious gloves on park railings.
A great time with the lion. Children enjoying the Easter holidays had a great time with Blossom, a life-size puppet lion who posed for pictures and gave out cuddles at a shopping centre last week. Puppet makers and street performers from Creature Encounters, the team that combines animatronic puppetry and spectacular costumes, and were the creators of the stunning White Lion and her friends, made 3 memorable appearances throughout Thursday, April the 5th, at Palace Shopping in Enfield. There were also real lambs, ducklings, chicks and rabbits on hand to youngsters at a pop-up farm outside Pearson's. And an animal-themed craft workshop was also there to entertain the crowds. And there is indeed a fabulous picture of the children enjoying cuddles from this big puppet.
Nominate a hero. The British Heart Foundation, BHF, is launching their Heart Hero Awards 2018 and asking for people to nominate their heart hero. The awards, which are now in their 4th year, recognise the different ways people fight heart disease. This year, there are 3 categories: Healthcare Hero, Young Heart Hero, and the Inspiration Award. The Healthcare Hero Award will recognise a doctor, nurse, or a person working in a healthcare setting who has made a special effort to make a difference to the life of a heart patient or their family. The Young Heart Hero Award will go to an exceptional person under the age of 18 years who has done something amazing for the BHF and is a source of inspiration to others. The Inspiration Award will recognise a person who inspires others through their determination and dedication, whether that is through their fundraising, organising an event or volunteering activities. Nominations are open until 11th of May at 4 p.m. The winners will be announced at a gala award dinner that will take place in London on October 5th. You can nominate someone for a Heart Hero Award at bhf.org.uk/Heart Heroes.
Academy set for next generation. An academy for young women who want to become hairdressers is being set up by a women's community group. Women Inspire Women is setting up an academy to give NVQ levels in the hair and beauty industry. The group is setting up the academy in its 2-storey building in Southgate to teach the next generation of hairdressers. On April the 5th, the group held a networking meeting and discussed the new academy to serve the borough of Enfield. They plan to give youngsters free classes to acquire their NVQ in hair and beauty and reinvesting profits from the salon into classes around the borough. Attending the meeting were Labour councillors Yasemin Brett and Ifa Orhan and 4 times British Hairdresser of the Year, Akin Konezi. Founder and director of WIW, Yildiz Jasmine Armstrong, said, "We are setting up an academy for young women who want to get NVQ level qualifications in the hair and beauty industry. Courses are free and all profits from the salon will be ploughed back into subsidising courses for the community. We hope to raise awareness of the health, safety and law as it pertains to the industry and increase the confidence of young women." 4-time British Hairdresser of the Year, Mr. Konezi, said, "I want to give back to the community and share my 37 years' experience. I have 2 academies, 25 salons and 525 people working with me. I am happy to support Ms. Armstrong and her team." Councillors Brett and Orhan said, "We are very happy that Women Inspire Women organisation has been set up in Enfield Borough. It is amazing that they will give free courses for women and men. The hairdressing industry is huge and more than 24,000 people work in this industry. We are supporting Women Inspire Women on their journey."
Enfield MP calls for more palliative care funding at newly named hospice centre launch. The amount of money that is spent on palliative care from the NHS is minuscule compared to the benefits that it gives to people, Bambos Charalambos told guests at a showcasing of the wide range of support services available to patients at the Winchmore Hill Centre. "We need to have more funding. That is a big issue. We are so lucky in Enfield to have such a fantastic facility on our doorstep. I'm absolutely blown away by the thought that has gone into this building and the services that are provided here." Mr. Charalambos joined GPs, health professionals, local business leaders, residents and the Mayor of Enfield, Christine Hamilton, at the event, which demonstrated the broad range of services, from medical, psychological and emotional support to complementary therapy, rehabilitation and social activities on offer to patients. "Many people who are afraid of dying have the wrong idea about what a hospice is and they are scared to find out so they don't come," said Joy Watkins, who is herself a patient at the Health and Wellbeing Centre. "I first came here 4 years ago because I was in a lot of pain. They not only helped me to cope with that, but what I get here is the space, time and flexibility to talk through things with experts who know about living with quality of life, not about dying, and who know about dealing with the impact of a life-threatening illness, practically, emotionally, physically, on every level. And that is the support you get when you come to a hospice." The new Health and Wellbeing Centre name replaces outpatients and therapies and better reflects the multi-professional approach to enable patients and their families who attend the centre to live as well as they possibly can and improve their quality of life. Examples of these activities, including art and drama therapy, acupuncture and seated Reiki, were demonstrated to the 100+ guests throughout the afternoon. Trudy Layton, Associate Director at the Health and Wellbeing Centre, said, "Over the last year, the service has expanded to offer activities such as courses, social and peer support groups, and workshops on a range of issues that are common in our patients. The principal aim is to enable and empower those that are living with the effects of a life-limiting condition to manage their symptoms, gain information to help them make decisions, function independently, and live as well as is possible.
And here's an interesting article from the historical phase of Palmer's Green Tales. It's written by Jenny Rourke. Susan Memmott and myself have made a film about Tom Maish, the celebrated bicycle manufacturer and keen cyclist who had a shop in Bowes Road backing onto Pym's Mews, which has been restored by Ian Puddick and our local gin distiller famous for Old Bakery gin. The shop was established by Thomas Maish, Tom's father, who was an engineer, and originally it repaired cars and bikes, but when Tom took over, he concentrated on bikes which he sold, repaired and manufactured. We did have some feedback from people who had bought their first bikes at Tom's shop, and also from someone who was in the photo taken in 1949. Many thanks to Jim Hurst for the photo. And this photo has children looking at a celebrated bike, and they're racing on a static bike, and they're looking at the mileage and speedometer on a large display. And this picture helps get people give a clearer picture of what was going on at the time before television sport took over. Bowes Road and Bowes Parade of shops were very prosperous and included a milliner's and a tailor's shop. Susan and I did some very useful research at our local history unit in the Dugdale Centre, and we give many thanks to John Clark, our local studies officer. Thanks also due to Odette Coates, Tom's daughter, and Ian Puddick, who helped put this article together. And if you're interested in finding a bit more about the history of Palmer's Green, do have a look on www.palmersgreentales.com. There's lots of information there. I'll just read that again. That's www.palmersgreentales.com.
Top book releases for April. Circe by Madeline Miller. In the House of Helos, God of the Sun, a daughter is born, but Circe has neither the look nor the voice of divinity, and is scorned and rejected by her kin. Increasingly isolated, she turns to mortals for companionship, leading her to discover a power forbidden to the gods, witchcraft. This is the highly anticipated novel from the Orange Prize-winning author of the brilliant novel The Song of Achilles, and is inspired by Homer's Odyssey. Release date 19th of April. Macbeth by Joan Nesbo. When a drug bust turns into a bloodbath, it's up to Inspector Macbeth and his team to clean up the mess. He's rewarded for his success with power, money, and respect. But, plagued by hallucinations and paranoia, Macbeth starts to unravel. This book is part of the Hogarth Shakespeare series, which sees Shakespeare's work told by best-selling novelists of today. Macbeth is my favourite Shakespeare play, so I'm looking forward to reading this new interpretation. Release date 5th of April. Just Before I Died by S.K. Tremaine. Kath lives with her husband, Adam, and daughter, Lilia, in a desolate stone longhouse deep in Dartmoor National Park. One day, Kath wakes up from a coma with a vague memory of a near-fatal car accident. She hugs her daughter and husband close. Then Kath learns that the car crash wasn't an accident. This is the new release from the author of Sunday Times bestseller The Ice Twins, a fantastic psychological thriller, and promises the same tense exploration of family dynamics. Release date 5th of April. The Female Persuasion by Meg Waltizer. Greer is a shy college freshman when she meets the woman she hopes will change her life. Faith Frank, dazzlingly persuasive and elegant at 63, has been a central pillar of the women's movement for decades. Astonishingly, Faith invites Greer to make something out of her directionless sense of purpose, leading Greer down the most exciting path of her life. This new release has been called the perfect feminist blockbuster for our times by Kirkus Reviews, and examines themes of friendship, ambition and power. Release date is 3rd of April. Things Bright and Beautiful by Anbara Salam. When Bea Hanlon follows her preacher husband Max to a remote island in the Pacific, she soon sees that their mission will bring anything but salvation. For Adventure Island is a place beyond the reaches of even her most fitful imaginings. Bea gradually adapts to life on the island, but the arrival of unexpected guests threatens their already tentative peace. Named A Stylist Must Read book of 2018, this story of a religious mania set on a remote island promises to be both darkly humorous and atmospheric. Release date 5th of April. I Still Dream by James Smith. 17-year-old Laura Bow has invented a rudimentary artificial intelligence and named it Organon. At first it's intended to be a surrogate best friend, but as she grows older, Organon grows with her. As the world becomes a very different place and technology changes the way we live, love and die, Laura is forced to decide whether to share her creation with the world. This novel has been called the best fictional treatment of the possibilities and horrors of artificial intelligence by The Guardian, and sounds like it would be perfect for fans of Black Mirror. Release date 21st of April. Trespassing by Brandy Reeds. Veronica's grasp on the world is slipping. Her latest round of fertility treatments not only failed, but left her on edge and unbalanced. And her 3-year-old daughter has a new imaginary friend who seems much more devilish than playful. So when Veronica's husband fails to return home from a business trip, what's left her stability begins to crumble. This sinister psychological suspense novel follows a young mother's quest to find her missing husband and the dangerous path she will walk to uncover the truth. Release date 1st of April. Never Greener by Ruth Jones. When Kate was 22, she had a passionate affair with a married man, Callum, which ended in heartbreak. 17 years later, life has moved on. Kate has a successful career, a husband and a baby daughter. Callum is also happily married, but then Kate meets Callum again and they are faced with a choice, to walk away or risk finding out what might have been. The debut novel from Gavin and Stacey actress and writer Ruth Jones examines second chances, messy relationships, and why we make the mistakes we do. Release date 5th of April.
This next article is entitled A View from City Hall, Supporting Young Londoners, and it's by Joanne McCartney, who is the London Assembly member for Enfield and Haringey and is the statutory Deputy Mayor of London. And you can reach Joanne if you have any questions for her on 020 7983 5524. Government cuts over the last 8 years have hit young people hard. As council budgets have been slashed, more than 39 million has been lost from youth services since 2011, closing 81 youth centres and over 800 youth service posts. With the government failing to support young people adequately, the Mayor is creating a new £45 million fund to help young Londoners, particularly those who are at risk of getting caught up in crime. The Young Londoners Fund will see £15 million invested in each of the next 3 years. Each year, £10 million will be allocated for a new fund into which local communities, charities and schools can bid for funding. The remaining £5 million will be used to scale up existing City Hall projects in this area, such as our Stepping Stones programme, which supports vulnerable students moving from primary to secondary school, and Team London's volunteering projects for young people affected by mental health issues. I want to encourage as many community groups, schools and organisations across Enfield. Details of the criteria and how to apply for this funding are on the london.gov website, or contact me and I can send you details. Behind every great city. In February 1918, the Representation of the People Act was passed in the UK, giving some women the right to vote for the first time, thanks to the campaigning of suffragists and suffragettes. In this centenary year, the Mayor has launched the #BehindEveryGreatCity Gender Equality campaign to champion the fact that it is the achievements and contributions of women from all walks of life which make cities like London great. This spring, the statue of suffragist leader Millicent Fawcett in Parliament Square will be unveiled, the first ever monument to a woman to stand within the square. And throughout the year, City Hall will work with London's many leading sectors, from culture, sport, education and business to politics and public life, to support the continuing success of women and to push for greater gender equality for women from all backgrounds across the city. Details of the full range of events can be found on the london.gov website.
Sarah brings wealth of experience, great drive and energy. A community stalwart and former chairwoman of the Stephen Lawrence Trust has been given a top job at Spurs. Sarah Ibanja has been appointed Chief Executive of the Tottenham Hotspur Foundation, the club's award-winning charitable body. She has worked for more than 20 years at senior level in local and regional government, including stints in Lewisham, Hackney and Islington, and as Deputy Chief Executive of the London Development Agency. Donna Maria Cullen, Chair of Trustees at the Foundation, said, "Sarah brings a wealth of experience coupled with great drive and energy. She is widely recognised for her work in areas that are the focus of our foundation's delivery and indeed has spent years in North Tottenham. The club's new stadium project is kick-starting regeneration and has already delivered new jobs, homes and schools. The work of the foundation has been and will increasingly be instrumental in bringing benefits to the local community in what is one of London's most deprived areas. Sarah is committed to bettering opportunities for individuals, communities and neighbourhoods, principally through creating educational and employment opportunities. We are delighted to have Sarah join us at this key time." The announcement coincides with the opening of a new enterprise, employment and skills hub at Percy House, Tottenham High Road. The club said that Percy House would transform the economic and social prospects of one of the most disadvantaged communities in the country, delivering over 95,000 hours of community development, health, enterprise, education and sports programmes every year to those living in the club's local area.
And here's an article written by the existing Conservative councillor for Winchmore Hill Ward, Councillor Urton Hura, and he writes about Enfield, Cycle Enfield, was it a waste of money? 3rd of May 2018. Why is this date significant? It is the date of the local government elections covering London boroughs, including Enfield, metropolitan districts, shire districts and single-tier shire districts. Irrespective of what political party you support, I would urge you all to go out and exercise your democratic right. Local elections take place once every 4 years, so for many readers, this may be the first time they are voting. In deciding which party to vote for, it is of course vitally important that you consider the track record of the party in office, in Enfield currently Labour, and what the opposition parties have to offer. Now turning to the white elephant in the room known as Cycle Enfield, this issue has generated more complaints and division within our local community than any other issue over the last 8 years. I personally have received complaints from residents, many of whom profess to be cyclists themselves, pedestrians, public transport users and drivers. The common complaint is that the cycle lanes are dangerous and not user-friendly. I recently witnessed a verbal altercation between a driver and a cyclist at the downgraded Palmer's Green Triangle. The motorist's complaint to the cyclist was that he was not using the cycle lane. Before the argument got too heated, I interjected and informed the motorist that there was no legal requirement for the cyclist to use a cycle lane. I did, however, then inquire as to why the cyclist was not, and to which he replied, "The cycle lanes are far too dangerous. I used one a couple of days ago and got knocked off my bike when someone in a parked car opened the door as I rode past. I'll be using the road. It's safer." The cyclist's comments, I believe, sum up the whole scheme. Dangerous, unusable, and a waste of money. Turning to the financial aspect, there is also a lot of misinformation about the source of the finance for the scheme. I understand from local residents that some members of the Labour Party are informing them that the funds came from Transport for London and not the local authority. This is totally untrue. This is a jointly funded project, and the local authority has and is putting several £1 million into the scheme. The scheme was also planned, designed and built by the local authority and not Transport for London. If I had been in control, I would have certainly not have spent your money on the cycle lanes, but would have looked to renovate Broomfield House. You may have also noticed recently a significant number of green bikes appearing like algae in our streets and pavements recently. These Urbo bikes, as they are called, are dockless bikes which you can just hire and simply drop off anywhere. They're currently on trial, and if you have any comments or observations, please let your local councillors know. Personally, I think they are dangerous as they can be left anywhere until collected and redocked. They make our streets look ugly. They've already been withdrawn following trials in several towns in France and Belgium, almost a green elephant perhaps. On a personal note, after 16 years representing Winchmore Hill Ward, I will be stepping down as a local councillor. It has been an honour and a privilege to represent both the residents of my own ward and the people of Enfield. And as a local resident and business owner, I will soon be on the other side of the fence, holding the local authority and local councillors to account.
This article is by Alan Weston from the group Lee Valley Crossroads. I work at Lee Valley Crossroads, or to give us our full name, Carers Trust Lee Valley Crossroads Care Service. We are Enfield's #1 provider of support for many people caring for loved ones in their homes and in the borough. Why? It's simple. We have been reliably providing high-quality professional care to people in Enfield for the last 31 years. The care we provide is regulated and rated as good by the Care Quality Commission. Additionally, we have been awarded the Carers Trust Quality Mark, assuring you reliably high-quality services there when you need them. So what do we do so well to get this recognition? We put you and the ones you're caring for at the centre of all we do. When you turn to us, as have thousands in the borough before, we conduct a thorough assessment of your care needs and requirements to design a truly personal package that gives you peace of mind. Why do we take such care in matching your needs to the service we provide? It's so you can really relax and have the break you deserve away from caring, in the secure knowledge that all is well at home, and for a while you can take time to be yourself. We are proud of the work we do and the 150 families a year that trust us to be there when they need our support. Proud that we support families to cope with any condition or any age, from children to older people caring for even older relatives and friends. Proud to be associated with all organisations working to relieve the stress of unpaid carers. Even carers need to go to their hairdressers or barbers, attend appointments, go shopping, see friends, have an undisturbed night's sleep without getting up to care for a loved one. Some will need help with the personal care, washing, dressing, etc. Some will need help with medication. You can find out more by phoning 020 83736210.
And now a couple of events notices. The first is for Chicken Shed Theatre, and it's the production of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, with a little plug, a brilliant and fresh physical interpretation of Ken Kesey's classic novel. The rules are about to be broken. and that's running from the 18th of April to the 12th of May. If you're at all interested, the number for the box office at the Chicken Shed Theatre in Cockfosters is 020 8292 9222. And the second event we have here is for Millfield Theatre. That's in Edmonton. And that's news about Tony Stockwell, a psychic medium. And he'll be there from the 26th of April. Well, actually on the 26th of April at 7:45 p.m. So it's a one day only if you're interested in Tony Stockwell, the psychic medium. And then we've got a little plug for him. The popular star of TV's Sixth Sense, Street Psychic, Psychic Private Eyes and Psychic Academy, Tony Stockwell demonstrates his belief that those who have passed can communicate with their loved ones with detailed messages, frequently including names, dates and locations, and all delivered with emotion, sensitivity and empathy. The evening may include psychometry, photograph readings and psychic predictions.
Pocket Park. This is from the React Committee. We hope that you will allow us some space in your paper to make some corrections to the article titled Community Created Park Opens to the Public, which was published on March the 28th. As it stands, there are a lot of misrepresentation of the facts surrounding this park. We do not blame your newspaper, as you have clearly been misinformed. Firstly, the impression is given that this is a new park, whereas it is in fact a makeover on a small portion, about 1/5 of a much larger park which local residents enjoyed for more than 25 years. REACT, which is Residents of Edmonton Angel Community Together, fought and campaigned to keep the park when it was discovered that the park had been sold for £1 to a Church of England company without a local consultation. REACT successfully petitioned the council, who relented and gave a small portion of the park back to the community. We are surprised that the council have failed to mention this vital part played by REACT. The original park was large, nicely landscaped with broad vistas and was well maintained. There was also an excellent children's play area. The new Pocket Park, although welcome, can in no way replace the opportunities offered by the old park.
And here's news of another entertainment announcement. We'll spend an evening with soul singer Michael Mendes as he covers legendary artist Luther Vandross and other soul singers with a full live band. And this all takes place at the Intimate Theatre on Saturday the 21st of April. Doors open at 7 p.m. and the show starts at 7:30 p.m. And you can find more details on www.michaelmendes.co.uk/events. The tickets are £12.50 and there should be a booking fee. For more information, again, you can also look on the website, but you can furtherly contact Samantha on 0793 1966 111.
And now for sport. Young Ignatians edged out. Enfield Ignatians' young side were narrowly beaten 17-13 at a London Nigerians on Saturday. Fielding one of their youngest teams, Ignatians suffered a difficult start to the contest, with the hosts racing into a 14-0 lead inside the opening 25 minutes. Tries from Ed Van Vorgen and George Fraud gave London Nigerians a commanding early lead, but Ignatians responded and got off the score sheet when fly half Tom Huckle released Ethan Rennie and the centre finished clinically. Luke Stack was shown a yellow card after repeating team infringements before Nigerians crossed the line again, although a knock-on denied them a third try. The visitors turned around only trailing 14-5, but were put under pressure at the start of the second half. Enfield defended strongly before countering with a Huckle penalty, which was balanced by another 3 points for the hosts. Ignatians were rewarded with another try when Keir Bonnar released Johnny Dixon to score. Enfield's final game is at home to Harrow on Sunday.
Commonwealth bronze for Payet. Enfield's Denise Payet celebrated winning table tennis bronze with England at the Commonwealth Games in Australia. England's women's team finished in the medals after a 3-1 victory over Australia in the bronze medal match. Writing on Instagram, Payet said, "Can't believe it. Bronze in the women's team event at the Commonwealth Games. Thank you, girls. So happy to be part of the team." It was a remarkable achievement to feature in the Commonwealth Games for the 16-year-old talent. Teenager Payet was part of the team, which included Kelly Sibley, Maria Tapsinos and Tintin Ho, which won the bronze medal for England. India won gold and Singapore finished runners-up in the competition.
Towners leave it late to deny leaders billericay. Enfield Town left it late again after a 90th minute equaliser from Ryan Blake rescued a 1-1 draw at home to Isthmian Premier Division leaders Billericay Town on Saturday. The Towners appeared to be heading for a narrow defeat, but once again delivered a late goal to salvage a hard-earned point and frustrate their opponents. Enfield made a lively start to the contest, although the visitors looked the most dangerous side. Billericay made the breakthrough after 24 minutes when Ricky Modest's cross was headed in by Adam Cunnington. Home goalkeeper Joe Wright was unable to prevent the back post header from going into the net for the opening goal. Enfield pushed forward for the equaliser at the start of the second half. The Towners almost levelled the match through Sammy Young's header, but the ball was cleared off the line. Jamie O'Hara created a couple of openings for the visitors, but Liam Hughes and Ricky Modest were unable to make the most of the opportunities. Cunnington also squandered a chance to add his second goal of the match. Billericay goalkeeper Alan Julian was called into action to save efforts from Sam Youngs and Aaron Green as the hosts pushed forward. The league leaders spurned a big opportunity to clinch the victory when O'Hara's free kick was headed towards goal by Cunnington and Wright pulled off an excellent save. From the rebound, Billy Bricknell should have scored, but he fired his shot against the post. It was a costly miss for the Billericay team as Enfield countered and snatched a 90th minute equaliser. Tyler Campbell picked out Ryan Blake and his first effort was blocked by the keeper, but Blake reacted quickest and followed up to fire the ball into the net to spark wild celebrations. There was a controversial end to the match for the visitors after Jamie O'Hara was sent off for dissent following the host's equaliser. It was the second game in a row Enfield had rescued a point with a late goal after their 2-2 draw at Dorking Wanderers last Thursday. Saturday's point left the Towners 18th in the table going into yesterday's, which is Tuesday, game at Burgess Hill Town. Enfield are away to Tunbridge Angels on Saturday.
And here's an article from the Parliamentary Comment by Labour councillor Mary Maguire, and the article's on a state-of-the-art library in Palmer's Green. When I was a child, I would spend every hour I could after school and on Saturday afternoons in my local public library. I just loved the fact that I could read any of the hundreds of books there. My local library, like many up and down the country, opened up huge possibilities for learning. And many children like me couldn't afford to buy books, but we could borrow, and that gave us access to a whole new world. I learnt new words, found out about the past, and imagined the future. I was introduced to authors and their heroes, and even fancied myself as a superhero of the adventures I read about. As a young mother in Palmer's Green, I was able to take my children to their local library and introduce them to the knowledge they could find in books. They had their favourite authors and loved storytelling time, and later found books to help with their homework. Times change though, and in today's era of smartphones, instant internet access, Kindle, TV on demand, social media and downloading the news, the library of my childhood would be out of place. but the desire to learn, to be informed, doesn't change, so our libraries have changed to meet the new challenges. Municipal libraries have a proud tradition of opening up knowledge, literature and the sciences to everyone. Before the 1850 Public Libraries Act, libraries were mostly private. It wasn't, however, until the 1900s that public libraries became widespread and flourished. Here in Enfield, the local Board of Health adopted the Public Libraries Act in 1892 and opened a temporary library in Gentleman's Row in 1894. Other libraries followed, and Palmer's Green Library was duly opened in 1940 as part of Southgate Town Hall. Since 2010, as a result of government austerity, 343 libraries across the country have closed. 174 have been transferred to community groups and 50 handed to external organisations to run. This in the face of a survey last year that found 72% of people say that libraries are essential and are very important to their community. Amongst the debris of library closures across the country as a result of government cuts, we here in Palmer's Green were able to celebrate a complete refurbishment and reopening of our library. It is one of 5 flagship libraries in Enfield. It is a library fit for our times and kitted out with up-to-date communication tools. It has interactive tables, a gadget bar with internet access, electronic notice boards and digital end panels. It has a bright, inviting children's section, teenage area and a community room. There is a customer access point to local council services through My Enfield accounts and the council website, and of course it has books. People visit Palmer's Green Library for many reasons: to use the computers, to study, do their homework, read newspapers and magazines, or to borrow books and other materials. It's a great to see students from our local schools using these equipment places. Our libraries are important social institutions, open to all residents without discrimination, and I believe they enrich the lives of those who use them, young and old alike. Palmer's Green Library is no exception. It is a lively centre for our community, thanks to the commitment of your Labour Council.
We have reached the end of our programme for this week. Thank you for listening. So from the team of Ros, Katherin, Reena and Romany, and Dem on the controls, it's
Bye-bye.
Please remember to turn over the address label in your postal packet, put the memory stick into the packet in a closed position and return it to us as soon as possible in readiness for the next edition. Don't forget you can call Diane de Jersey regarding any help you may require in connection with Enfield Talking Newspaper on 020 8805 6578. Coming up next, the latest news and information for the Greater London area from InfoSound. The Enfield Talking Newspaper will be with you again in 1 week's time.